Thanks for listening to the more. Well, maybe you're not even listening, but watching. Who knows? However you found us, thanks.
Thanks for consuming the morning after with Nick and Big J.
We're cool.
Well, good morning, everybody. It is the morning after with Nick and Big J. Welcome to Wednesday. Welcome to the second day of October 2024. My name is Nick. Hey, everybody, it's Big J.
Hey.
Hey, Big J, how are you, man?
I'm doing all right, man.
Don't lie to me.
No, I'm doing all right.
Wonderful. I love to hear that. Happy Wednesday to you. Hopefully you had a good Tuesday and everything is great. You're feeling good about yourself and life and all things are good.
I feel so good about myself.
Yeah, oh, awesome. Good. You should. And if you need a little bit of an ego boost, let me know. I'm happy to
No, not today, man. I
dap
got
you up a bit.
I've got my own ego.
Okay. Oh,
It's
what
soaring.
happened?
Nothing.
Why is it soaring?
God, all I did was I got home yesterday is I did stuff to get a good weekend grade. Put it that way.
Okay. All right. Hang on. Are you working on your weekend grade during the week?
Yeah.
That's cheating.
That's what I told the wife. I go, why are we mowing the lawn right now? Oh, I know, because I don't have any time this weekend to do it.
Yeah, it is. We are heading into crazy time. That's going to play a big factor on the show today as we have a 6-pack of tickets to Knitting Factory shows in the month of October to hand out during Pop Culture Smackdown. Yes, 6 shows you will have tickets to. That's 12 tickets total. It's going to be a good time, several good times, and you'll have an opportunity to take advantage of that over the course of the show today.
It's an opportunity for listeners to know what it's like to be us. To have a whole bunch of tickets to something, and ever your friends want some, and then you got to just try to pick which friends are the best friends to get these tickets.
Right. And you get all excited, you can't wait for it, and by the time like show 5 or 6 goes up, you're like, oh man, all I've been doing is going to concerts. What? Huh?
But and then you're that guy. I'm not going to go to this one. What? You pansy.
Yeah, you're leaving 3 songs into the headliner. You're home by 9:30, and you don't know what happened to yourself. You cried yourself to sleep by 10. It's great. That's when you know you've reached radio equivalency. Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Also on the show today, Big J has a movie review for you. You watched a movie called Cult Killer?
Cult Killer.
And it stars Antonio Banderas.
No. Antonio Banderas.
Okay. And
Alice Eve. Oh, man.
You don't say it in a British accent considering she's from Britain?
No. You just say it like she's hot.
Okay. All right.
Got a huge crush on Alice Eve.
But no respect for Antonio Banderas,
No,
huh?
I think he's very handsome as well.
Yeah.
Even in his older age. Like Sean Connery. He's getting better.
Not anymore, Sean Connery, of course.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, not the one that's in the grave.
But, of course, we also will get a movie review for Big J for today. We also have a chance for you to go to hell with us. Another keyword coming your way a little bit after 9 o'clock for Textual Healing. Should be certainly a show today. Let's get started with one of Big J's favorites, a little band called Metallica. Wherever I May Roam, kicking things off here on the morning after on the X.
Important stuff.
What's going on in the news today?
The morning after with Nick and Big J.
You know it's starting to get into the fall months, and we're starting to cool down a little bit when you start to get notices when the irrigation water is going to get turned off, Big J.
Yeah, it's happening this week.
That's right. October 7th is where it's happened. Now, the city of Nampa has joined the list of cities that are shutting things down. That already joins the Pioneer Irrigation District, the Boise-Cuna Irrigation District, and the Meridian Irrigation District. So now pretty much the entire Treasure Valley shutting things down for you on Monday, October 7th. Basically, they want you to make sure that you don't use house water to irrigate lawns, as it will increase your utilities water bill and sewer charges, and making sure that you still sure the city valve is still turned on when you blow out your sprinkler lines. That's also important if you are doing that as we get to that particular season as well here in the Treasure Valley. So get used to it, Big J.
Yeah, I wonder how that's going to roll, though. I mean, the temperatures, while they're getting a little cooler in the morning, they still might be higher in the evening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Going forward, who knows how long that's going to last. I saw some temperatures that I was like, this feels like it's going to be pretty warm throughout October.
You never know. But I don't know if they're that worried about your lawn, and it usually bounces back. I know, you just cut it. I get it.
No, it's because it's dying because we've had electrical problems at our house, right?
Right.
So we've been using the sprinkler system, the sprinkler system electrical outlet for our fridge in our garage. So it's all fixed now, but the sprinklers haven't been on for like a couple weeks.
Your irrigation water was turned off for a couple weeks.
Yeah, we turned it off prematurely.
Voluntarily. Are all those the electrical system figured out?
Yeah,
now?
it's all groovy now.
Nice.
We're all good, but so yeah, the grass is looking pretty dead already. Which is like I wanted it dead for so many years,
Yeah,
and then I didn't.
You got
And
your
then-
wish.
Yeah, and then I'm like, ah.
Now you're angry at how ugly your lawn looks compared to everybody else's, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
king of the hill over here. Damn it. Look at that Bobby Hill.
Bobby did not care about that lawn.
I know. I was Bobby Hill, and then I turned into Hank.
Now you're Hank. Do you know the type of grass you have in your lawn? Then you're really Hank Hill when you know the style.
Yeah,
Is it like
it's
Kentucky?
Idaho bluegrass.
Not true. Hey, it's official. Gonzaga University is going to join the Pac-12 conference. They released a press release, held a conference yesterday that they have received formal application from Gonzaga. It went through on September 30th. The board of directors and its 5 new member presidents unanimously voted to approve Gonzaga. They'll join the conference effective July 1st, 2026, and then they will begin the all for all conference sports in 2026-27. I don't know if that means they're going to start up a football program.
I don't know,
all
but that'd
conference
be nice.
sports,
Wouldn't
but
that be
maybe
nice?
it's just
maybe
the
it's
ones
all the ones that they have.
That could very well be, because they famously don't have a football program, but a very successful basketball program, which, of course, there's a lot of successful basketball programs now in the Pac-12.
Right.
Boise State among them.
They have
San
one
Diego
of the,
State.
They have one of the best pickleball teams in the country.
I'll take your word for it.
I made that up.
Hey, Big J, Saturday Night Live's 50th season premiere scored 5.3 million viewers. That may not mean anything to you, but it was the most viewers for an SNL season premiere since 2020. So people are excited about the 50th anniversary of Saturday Night Live. Or maybe it was Gene Smart that brought him to the party. Maybe it was Jelly Roll. I don't know. What brought you to the party?
I didn't watch.
Lesson learned, Saturday Night Live. Who are they going to have to book to make that happen, Big J? Because even people you like, you don't watch Saturday Night Live very much. You're just a Clips guy at this point now, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's late on Saturday.
Yeah, but it's available at Peacock anytime you want to watch it.
I don't know, man. I'm not good at watching stuff
Ain't that the truth?
unless I have to.
Morning after
Maybe you should make it a part of work, and
Nick,
I'll watch it.
I have no interest in making you watch Saturday Night Live.
Thank you.
Morning after with Nick and Big J. There is your important stuff. It is the X-Rocks. That is Bring Me the Horizon, top 10 statues that cried blood here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. Big J, you're an old-fashioned guy. You have probably heard the saying on more than one occasion, as American as apple pie, or as American as apple pie or baseball, or those kind of things. It's a saying that's been around for a long, long time.
Probably
so
since
long.
the 40s.
Yeah. That essentially it's out of date in the year 2024. Baseball no longer probably the most American sport out there. We don't really equate it so much. It's not even the most popular sport in our own country. And believe it or not, Big J, apple pie has gone down pretty far on the list of things that Americans associate with American food. It's still in the top 10, but it's number 8. And they put together a list of foods that are considered more Americans, according to American, than apple pie. Any guess what comes on top or is ranked higher than apple pie at this point?
Fried chicken?
Fried chicken is definitely up there, I believe. Oh, no, technically not.
Oh, that's dumb.
Oh, weird. Where is fried chicken?
Not getting fried chicken anywhere else.
There's lots of fried stuff, just
well,
not
it has
chicken
to be.
anywhere
We
else.
fry everything. I'm going to say tacos.
No, tacos is not.
Anything that we could appropriate from another culture and steal and use.
Because General Tso's chicken is number 12 on the list. Spaghetti and meatballs number 19 on the list.
Hey.
Burritos and tacos number 17 on the list.
Got to be a burger then.
Hamburger comes in at number 7.
Cheeses.
Red beans and rice is number 6. Fry bread is number 5. Peanut butter and jelly number 4. Cobb salad number 3. Fried okra number 2,
Ugh.
which is the fried stuff, and Southern cooking, I believe,
Yeah.
which is why it makes it on
Fried
there.
chicken should be up there
I
before
think
okra.
so. And chicken is not on here, which is crazy.
Somebody made a mistake.
But the number 1, I think you're going to go, oh, yeah, that makes sense as soon as you hear it. Because this does feel very American, even though there's different styles of it. This is definitely an American thing.
Okay.
Barbecue.
Oh, all right. Yeah, that is.
See, there you go.
Although I still think that that's appropriated from other cultures. Too, so.
Barbecue. Well, listen, yes, all food is in some way, shape, or form. But it is definitely something that we have taken and made our own. And there are different states that have their style of barbecue.
Yeah.
All of them are very successful. Barbecue, when it's done right, there's nothing better. It does feel very. It's also excessive and can be large. There's a lot of American things about barbecue that make a whole lot of sense for it to be the new saying.
And you know what? It goes with sports. I mean, especially football, tailgating and barbecue go hand in hand, man.
Other things that I kind of was surprised, you had mentioned fried chicken not being on the list. Hot dog's not on the list anywhere. Pizza not on the list anywhere. If we're going to have General Tso's chicken, you would think pizza would be part of this list as well.
Especially as easy as it is to get.
Right. But I certainly would not be adverse to the saying that's an American as barbecue. I don't know if it rolls off the tongue as much as American as apple pie does, but I could understand why apple pie is a little bit further down on the list in these days.
Yeah.
So enjoy whatever food you're having and put a little bit of American flavor on it. I think you're just fine.
I do think we need to adjust to be like, that's as American as celebrity worship.
That might not be just an American thing, though. That could be a worldwide thing. Morning After with Nick and Big J. Coming up in a few minutes, Big J did a movie last night, and he watched it, and now you're going to review it. That's coming up next on the X Rocks.
Here's traffic inside the TDS Fiber.
It is Disturbed down with the sickness here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. Let's get down to brass tacks. You know Big J watched a movie last night called Cult Killer. You know he sat down in front of Hulu and actually absorbed the entire movie, and now we get to find out what exactly it's about and how was it. Big J, please.
Almost not, because Hulu, raised their prices, right? Hulu, Disney, I'm part of a Disney bundle.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, no, I'm not going to be able to watch the movie. Oh, no, it's my account's under review, Nick. I had to go and select a new plan.
Oh, no.
So I almost got out of it. No, I would have figured out another way. But either way, yes, Cult Killer starring kind of Antonio Banderas and Alice Eve. And so here I'll say this. This is a thriller movie, kind of a not really even a whodunit, more like just an investigation, let's put it that way, right? And so Antonio Banderas' character is a renowned private investigator. And the beginning of this movie, you see him dealing some unsavory business to gentlemen in a bar, and in that bar is Alice Eve's character, who's just drinking it up with a bunch of men, and she basically, this is their introduction to each other. She's got a drinking problem, and Antonio Banderas' character is he's about being a sponsor and trying to help people who are alcoholics.
Okay,
so that's what the movie's about. No,
You're
not
kidding.
really. No, so they begin a relationship, a friendship, a mentorship. And she gets cleaned up, and then she ends up kind of working for him as an investigator. All of this, by the way, is pretty much coming courtesy of now I can't think of the word. Oh man, I'm having a brain problem here. When flashbacks. So the majority of this movie and their friendship and relationship and mentorship is based on flashbacks as what happened, and you'll find out in this movie early, and I don't even care if this is a spoiler. Antonio Banderas dies early in this movie, like he does in a lot of movies for whatever reason. And so she is brought in to help find out who did this and what's going on. And so he was investigating a group of people, let's call it a cabal, and obviously it has to do with trafficking of people. And so that's what ends up happening. And you get revealed a lot of her character and the strength that her character comes from. But it really unravels fast. There's a lot of stuff going on, too much stuff. Really, it's just there's too many things, and it gets just real messy in the plot, which is why I think this movie didn't exactly get a whole bunch of great reviews. And so it's problematic. Let's put it that way. There's too much going on, which is a damn shame, because I really like Alice Eve's character. Her character is a very strong woman who early in her life was abused sexually, and she has tried to bounce back from that. Obviously has some problems with some alcohol abuse and is working through that. But she's a badass. She's an expert in, jujitsu, and I thought her character was really cool. Also, I'm biased. I've got a huge crush on Alice Eve, so it kind of worked out. She gets to use her accent in this movie. She's not trying to do an American accent. It kind of takes place over there in Ireland, so You've got that in a kind of a natural landscape for her, and I think she was great. Antonio Banderas was good in this too. When the moments that you get to see him, and a lot of the flashbacks are him teaching her stuff about investigating and things like that. And then you have the antagonist here. Well, there's a couple antagonists, but one of the main one is another person who is both an antagonist and a protagonist. You kind of know what I mean by that? Like it's another person.
Yeah, they're painted as a good guy, but they're actually doing bad things.
Well, other way around.
Oh.
I guess depends on how you look at it. She's taking revenge on these people who they're investigating, and pretty much is a serial killer. So you've got that introduction
Would
too.
you call her a cult killer?
Yes,
Okay.
she's the cult killer. So you have that in a relationship.
That's probably a spoiler.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, there's no way to spoil this because it's kind of predictable, but at the same time, it gets really like a big mess, and it's not as good a movie as it could be. This could be a really good movie, but it unravels.
Is it based on a novel?
I think it is.
Because that's usually what you will find is movies that are based on novels that have a lot going on, try to logjam in a whole bunch into the movie, and then don't know what to cut out, and it becomes a problem.
If it is, I mean, I would really be interested because I really like the character Cassie Holt. That's the character that Alice Eve plays. So, I mean, I could see this being like a character that she could play multiple times if this movie hadn't been so problematic. I think it would be pretty interesting to delve more into what her character is and where she comes from, because I think it's worthwhile. But overall in the movie, not great.
Problematic in terms of subject content, or just not a good movie?
No, just too many things plot-wise that don't make sense, and it just I don't know if they completed writing the script or whatever. And
No, again, I'm sure they did, and it was
Yeah.
probably a 300-page script that they had to cut down to 180, and they kept a couple of things, and it wasn't probably prepared, or they cut the hell out of it in the editing room and made a bad movie.
Yeah. It had the potential to be a great movie. In the end, it almost feels like a slasher movie, but it's okay. But I'm not going to prove it.
Is it a mystery? Like, do you not know who did it, or and you're just you're along for the ride while she figures out the problem?
Halfway through, you'll kind of start to figure out who it is. But with the entrance of another character who's involved in this. As well, that trying to throw you off the scent, I guess, a little bit, but it doesn't work very well.
All right, you led Big J astray this week. Cult Killer is not Big J approved.
It's not approved. Huh? Alice Eve is approved.
Oh, okay. All right. At its rawest terms, Big J thinks Alice Eve is attractive.
Yes. So thank you for picking this movie for me.
Do you want them to pick the movie based on who could possibly be hot in the film?
No.
To make it easier for you?
This is just a bonus.
Okay. Morning After with Nick and Big J. Oh, the text line's asking for a nudity alert. Is Alice Eve nude in the actual movie?
It's respectable to her.
Morning After with Nick and Big J.
You bastards.
There is your movie.
Important stuff. On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Hey, Big J, can we have some good news, bad news with important stuff?
Sure.
Good news. The American Cancer Society has announced that fewer women are passing away from breast cancer in the United States. That's a really, really, really good thing.
It's great.
It's because of early detection, finding things, kind of pushing mammograms as you get to a certain age, trying to make sure you're going through everything and checking for stuff, and it has helped out dramatically, which is good. The bad news, Big J, there's still racial disparities. Death rates for American Indian and Alaska Native women have stayed the same for the past 30 years. There's something about penetrating that particular community with information and letting them know early detection is incredibly important. And part of it is because of the reach. The other part of it is just because of trust issues. But there's all sorts of reasons why this is a thing. But no, the American Cancer Society is going to make sure that those gaps are rectified through efforts to ensure access to high-quality screening and treatment for every woman in the United States. That's their big push over the next decade. They would like to see the breast cancer rate drop even more significantly. In case you're keeping track, it went down 44% in the last 35 years, which is fantastic. It's still a problem, and it's still a problem in several communities that they need to make sure they reach, but I love that that's going in the right direction. It's good news.
Yeah, it's got a high survivability rate now, so amazing.
It's one of those deals where if you can get over the stigma attached to something and kind of educate people about how important early detection is, that becomes a thing. I mean, listen, it's the same reason why we're men of a certain age, Big J. Colonoscopies used to be a joke on sitcoms in the 70s. Now it's like, hey, when you're 50, you better take a look, man, if you want to be here for a while, because if you have something bad, it's good to figure that out early. And so it's taken a while for dudes to open themselves up to it. Nobody wants a colonoscopy. You do it because you know it's a smart thing to do and it's good for your health.
I'm due for one here pretty soon.
Yeah.
And I'm not. Unfortunately, everybody else in my family has had one for various issues.
So you can't pull the "I don't want to do it because I'm scared" card because everybody else has done it, right?
Right. Well, and then their thing is they you have to drink this stuff, this dye.
Yeah.
And they all struggle with it, and I'm like, come on, you can do it. And I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna have to take that like a protein drink, like the old days, Just grit it, and poor kids throwing up. I mean, it was bad.
Yeah, listen, there's nothing fun about it, but it is something that you need to do, a medical procedure that's smart for you to go through, and there's a reason they went through it as well. I mean, they do these things just to make sure to double check and for preventative measures. It's smart.
I kind of miss we used to do that walk for prostate. Remember the prostate?
Longest mile.
Longest mile, yeah.
I do.
And I think, Pete and Joe, did they do a colonoscopy on air?
Yes, Pete did one on air.
Pete did one on air.
Pete was going to be the one who did it on air. Yes, of course. Of course. Good old Sports with Pete.
Yep.
Major League Baseball wrapped up its 2024 regular season with a bang, seeing the highest attendance in 7 years and a huge boost in TV viewership. Take that, Big J, you not baseball fan.
Oh, I missed out.
It seems the new rules speeding up the game worked. The average game time this season was 2 hours and 26 minutes. That's the shortest average in 40 years, Big J. You're still in short pants when games are this short.
Yeah.
The results was an increase in viewership, including younger fans embracing the sport in a big way, the heated-up playoff race, the fact that Shohei Ohtani was going for 50-50, the numbers that Aaron Judge put up this year, all of that reflected in an increase in viewership and popularity with baseball. We'll see how the playoffs go for baseball as they were underway as of yesterday. I don't want to talk about how it ended up, but we will...
not good?
Not good for your fighting
Brewers.
They
lose?
Yeah, they lost to the Mets.
Oh,
Gave up
God, they
5
lost
runs
to the Mets?
in the 5th inning to crap away a lead. They lost in a very Brewers way. I was very upset.
Sorry, dude.
But it's okay. They have to win today. Otherwise, that series is over already, which is also very Brewers. So we'll see how that goes. But it is nice to see more people tuning into baseball and enjoying the sport. Hopefully, that continues to go up. Because, listen, I think it's a good thing when we're paying attention to other things besides just football. Baseball's a fun sport when it's done properly, and it's fun to watch, especially in person. It's a lot like hockey to me. Baseball's a lot more fun in person than it is on TV, although it's nothing wrong with watching it on TV at all.
I feel like, for a while, I mean, I used to love baseball. Baseball is my favorite sport. I played it when I was a kid. We moved here to town. I didn't get a chance to play it anymore, and that's when I started to, get enamored with football. And I watched baseball for a long time, and then I just stopped. And I don't know anybody who's playing anymore, so it's hard to really get back into it. Even if you turn on a game, it's like, I don't know who any of these guys are.
You know Shohei Ohtani is.
Sure.
You know who Aaron Judge is.
Yeah, there's 2 people.
All right, you don't know any pitchers? You can't name me a single
There's a
pitcher?
couple, like somebody's last name is Cole.
Yeah,
Garrett Cole. And so some of it, but it's just, that's been, I think, part of it is if I knew more of the players and was more into that, it might be a little bit more enjoyable.
Well, that requires effort on your part, you understand?
Oh, I understand that, yeah.
Okay. Hey, another eulogy, Big J. Rest in peace to John Amos, good time star, also star of Coming to America, fantastic actor. 84 years old, he passed away. Natural causes in L.A. on the 21st of August. Of course, we're just getting the news now. He had been in a home for a while, battling several different illnesses. And, of course, he also, if you remember back last year, there was reports of his family throwing allegations of elder abuse involved, and the caretaker. It was an ugly story. It kind of came to light right around the time the Spike, the Stan Lee stuff kind of started to come, and how his end of life wasn't exactly great. There was a lot of that involved in here, but also famous for Mary Tyler Moore Show. I mean, just an icon in the African-American community, one of the few actors that was able to work regularly back in the day when that wasn't a thing in Hollywood, and certainly is a trailblazer among those that enjoy great acting. John Amos was fantastic and very, very funny in everything that he did. Big J, would you like to eulogize John Amos?
Rest in peace.
Thank you. Morning
Rest in
after
power.
Nick and Big J. There's your important stuff. We have got where we're going to hell story. It's next on the X Rocks.
Here's stories that are incredibly f***ed up. Oh man, we're going to hell.
The morning after with Nick and Big J on 100.3 The X Rocks.
To China we go, Big J, for today's We're Going to Hell story.
Uh-oh.
If feel
Wild
like
ride.
this is a situation that probably is only going to happen in another country besides the United States. I don't think a lot of people are going to find themselves in this particular situation, but we've all had a few too many alcoholic beverages in our lives, right, Big J?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And there's a reason why alcohol is sometimes called liquid courage. It makes you do things that normally you probably wouldn't do if you weren't inebriated in some way.
Yeah, there's that brief moment where you feel almost invincible.
Yeah. And it's a fine line you walk between that and then just puking all over your shoes. So you got to be real careful. And always something to remember, you're not invincible. I don't care who you are. Odds are things aren't going to work out your favor if you start to feel that way. And I believe this gentleman who is unnamed, and you'll find out why here in a few, was walking that line of invincibility because he and 6 of his friends were walking home from the pub after having a little bit too much to drink, Big J. They were drunk. And as one does as you're walking home from the bar, probably not a surprise when you encounter on your way home a gigantic python, Big J. That happens, right?
No, it's never happened to me ever.
That is correct.
This is like a rainforest in China?
I mean, I don't know. It doesn't say the region, but the picture in which that is attached to this story makes it look like it's on like a street. So maybe pythons are a little bit more prevalent in certain parts of the world and just make their way out into the street. Well, this guy who is drunk thinks it's a good idea to see if he can't beat the python in a fight, Big J. And
great.
it doesn't go well for the gentleman. It doesn't take long for the python to get this drunk guy basically wrapped around his arm. Next thing you know, the python's wrapped around his whole body. As you should know, Big J, that's how pythons kill their prey.
Yeah. They squeeze you to death.
And so this guy is drunk. He's on the ground. He cannot get this snake off of him, and he just stops moving, which is not a good sign, Big J. His friends step in. They also cannot pry
What are
these
they
6
doing the whole time? He's wrapping them up around him.
I don't know. I think he might be saying stuff like, "Don't worry, I can take him.
I got
can
him.
take him. Don't step in. I got this python." And maybe he does get in a couple shots. Maybe he throws a couple of haymakers to the python's head, but the python has got a lock on this guy, and it's not a good look. So down he goes in the street. The 6 friends also cannot pry this python off their friend. That's not great. So they called the fire department. The fire department has to get involved, and they then save this guy from getting killed by a python. He did have a couple of python bites, Big J, because they will bite you.
It's just like that lady. We had that old lady who got, remember, in her house?
Yes, I do remember.
I mean, it's the same thing. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah, she's screaming for a couple hours as well.
Yeah.
It looks like this went down for like 10, 12 minutes maybe.
A little faster.
Yeah, but the guy, once he was unraveled from the python and regained consciousness, did refuse treatment and did not want to go to the hospital despite having a couple of python bites. Pythons, of course, not poisonous, so as long as he takes care of those, he should be okay. But a reminder, you're probably not going to win a fight against a python, especially if you're in close enough for striking distance for that python. It's usually going to be game over, whoever you may be. Unless, again, the python decides to mess around with you like he did that old lady for some reason,
play
kept
with
her
the
alive
food.
for 2 hours. And this guy, I don't know what the end game was. I think he was unconscious, so it probably wouldn't have gone well for him if they let him alone there for a couple more minutes. But I don't know if like snakes instinctively start at the top of your head, and so it's game over early, or like you wake up conscious while they're halfway up your leg. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to know. These are things I don't want to know.
What, how do you get them off of you? Was there any expert?
It did not say. I'm guessing it probably wasn't fun for the snake, because if you remember the old lady, they had to smash the snake's head with a rock before it finally gave up. So I don't know. It doesn't say in the story how they pried the snake off him, just that firefighters did. The snake was alive. They put this reptile in a snack after it was done, but I don't know what happened to the snake. Well, actually, it says here they released it in the wild the following day, so maybe it was just fine as well. Maybe it took a bunch of people.
Victim.
Maybe it took sober people to pull the snake off of the dude. I don't know.
Good point.
But a reminder not to get into a fight with a python. It's not going to go well for you. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your We're Going to Hell story. It is the X Rocks. That is Pop Evil. That is Footsteps here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. I did it, Big J.
You did it?
I did what I told you I was thinking about doing yesterday. I was in my house. It was later in the evening. I started looking around, and I was like, I'm going to save my cleaning for tomorrow. I don't really have a whole lot going on. I'm going to do it. I went to the Cinemark Majestic Theaters last night at 6:45, and I saw a screening of Megaopolis.
Oh, God. I mean, you were all about it.
If you don't know by now, I am a pretty big movie fan. One of my guilty pleasures is I enjoy terrible movies. It's been something that probably was taught to me at a young age from being such a fan of Mystery Science Theater 3000. I get joy out of watching bad things and kind of making fun of them as we go, sarcastically, that kind of thing. And so I try to make it a point to see what movies are considered to be some of the worst of all time. I've watched some really bad movies, and some of them are truly, truly awful and hard. I saw Madam Web in the theater for this exact same reason. I knew it was going to be terrible. I wanted to see if it was so bad it was funny or if it was just bad, and that movie is just bad. Now, Megaopolis is something that I didn't know. I knew a bunch about it. I knew Francis Ford Coppola, of course, the director of the Godfather movies, Apocalypse Now, one of the greatest directors of all time, had been writing this movie since 1974, could not get a studio to sign off on it because it was such a project. I don't know. I mean, there's lots of reasons why. So he self-financed this particular movie. He would send the script out to anybody that would want it and wanted people that really believed in the project, which is why there's a bunch of up-and-coming actors in this movie and a bunch of actors that have been kind of famous and a bunch of really old famous actors. There are people that have been attached to this movie for a very long time, like Dustin Hoffman is in this movie, and he's not in it very much, but he has been attached since, I think, 1977. And so,
It would have been cheaper to make this movie then.
Yeah. So he spent $120 million of his own money. It's the most expensive independent movie ever made. I didn't watch a single trailer. All I knew about it was this was a disaster. It didn't get very good reviews. They got in trouble for releasing a trailer that had a bunch of false quotes in it about how bad the movie was. And I was like, what an interesting marketing take to tell people how terrible it is. So and then I also saw that it didn't do anything in the box office, and I'm like, if I'm going to see this in the theater, I need to go soon because I want to check it out the way it's intended to be seen, because there's lots of fixed dimension stuff going on, something that's supposed to be seen on the big screen according to Francis Ford Coppola. And so I went. There were two other people in the theater with me, one of which sat 2 seats away from me in the same row. Really weird, right?
Why do you do that?
I don't understand.
Why?
I don't
you got
understand.
The whole theater, unless you were right smack in the middle.
I was not smack dab. I was in E2, and somebody sat in E4.
On the side?
Yeah.
That's an interesting place to sit.
Well, I wanted to make a run for it the second it was over, and so I
through
was
all the people that are there.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to take my time, and so it was really, really like when somebody else popped down next to me 2 seats away. I was like, yeah, whole damn theater's open. What a weird call to make. Anyway, I watched the movie, and it is god-awful. It is really, really, really bad. And not in a so bad it's funny way. There's several funny scenes in the movie
So
that
bad
aren't
it's
supposed to be.
sad.
Well, it's really, really confusing. Like, I haven't been this confused leaving a movie theater since I saw Tenet, and I don't think you've ever. So I still don't understand Tenet, and I will happily admit to it. I feel like I'm fairly intelligent. I didn't understand Tenet at all. It was way over my head. And this movie is just confusing. Like they don't really connect a whole bunch of things. There's lots of weird like allegories involved. It's supposed to be a kind of take on modern and Julius Caesar. In fact, one of the characters is named Julia, the other is named Caesar. So it's very thinly veiled as to like its comparisons to Shakespeare and Julius Caesar and that kind of thing. But it also is incredibly confusing as to what it's trying to be. I cannot believe how many stars are in this movie. From Adam Driver, Lawrence Fishburne is in this movie. Giancarlo Esposito's in this movie. There's a crazy amount of celebrities that I have I cannot believe you signed up for this thing. And maybe there's a script that does make sense. That did not make its way onto the screen. So I can honestly, this is one of the worst movies I have ever seen. It was not enjoyable. Aubrey Plaza's fun in a weird way, but also I feel like you can tell she realizes she's doing it as a joke because she's so over the top in some stuff. It's hard to explain. So it takes place in New Rome. New Rome is this movie's equivalent to New York City. And it's a cesspool and people are rioting in the streets. And Adam Driver has created a new element of which he has won the Nobel Prize. That is like a living element that is created from the heart of his wife. Again, it's very, I don't know if I even got that right, but this is an element that creates modern structures and movement and flow, and is supposed to make a new utopia for a future civilization. And the old people don't want it to be made. The new people don't understand what it is. Adam Driver is this like eccentric genius that has created this element and can stop time. It's bonkers. I cannot wrap my head around it. So if you enjoy really, really terrible movies, this is one of the worst ones you'll ever see. But I also don't understand it, so it's hard for me to do to really kind of give you a plot synopsis because I don't know what it is. I'll promise you'll never have to watch it for Streaming Dumbass because it was a hard movie to get through. It had some very funny scenes that weren't meant to be funny to me. I was the only one laughing in the theater at some of these scenes, but it's also a mess. I understand why no studio wanted to make this movie, and I can't imagine spending $120 million on that piece of junk. And I felt bad for Francis Ford Coppola because he had some really weird things going on in this movie, and I don't even know if he knew what he was trying to make, to be perfectly honest. It's rough.
What a bummer.
No, it's what I wanted. I wanted to see a bad movie.
Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah, he lost a bunch of money. That is a bummer. But I'm guessing he's doing just fine. Buy a wine or two of his, and he'll be right back on the plus side for sure. But stay away from Megapocalypse. It's as bad as everybody says it is. I'm happy that I saw it, but I think few people enjoy torturing themselves like I enjoy torturing myself.
It's true.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. Coming up in a few minutes, some important stuff and your pop culture smackdown. It's next on the X.
Jay.
If you have yourself a Jeep Wrangler or a Jeep Grand Cherokee plug-in hybrid, you're gonna want to pay attention to the mail. Stellantis has recalled 154,032 of those particular models because of a fire risk. So far, 13 vehicles have caught fire while parked and turned off. That's not great. Approximately 5% of the recall models share this particular defect, and so they're looking to fix it as quickly as possible. They advise owners to park away from structures and not to top off your battery until they get it fixed and figure this whole problem out. Apparently, there's some sort of issue with these particular models of Jeep Wranglers and Grand Cherokees that are causing them just to set on fire for fun, which is not great.
Yeah, that's not... No, that's not fun at all.
One of the worst things your vehicle can do, if I had to rank them, self-combusting's right up there. Right up there, man.
Yeah, that seems like it would be a total loss.
I mean, you not doing anything in your car just starting on fire, and then if it's in your garage, look out, man. That's no fun. So be careful. Pay attention. I do not know. Do you get a duck, Big J, for every time a Jeep is recalled? Is that how it works?
I don't know. I'd have to ask Macy.
Okay. Because she has ducks, right?
Oh, God.
Okay.
They're all over the place. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
I don't think I do. Even Jeep owners can't explain it to me. They just say, it's a thing. And I'm like, okay, cool. Enjoy. Have fun. As long as you're having fun, who cares?
Yeah, I wave at other motorcycles, too, so it's weird.
You're not throwing ducks at them?
No.
Good. Hey, when Major League Baseball season started back in spring, players were not happy with some of the new things. Supposedly, the high-tech baseball pants were the biggest problem. Those were the ones provided to them by Nike. The jerseys were supposedly collected sweat, and then the pants became see-through. You see it, everybody's everything, Big J. It wasn't a good look. The league has vowed to make things right. Changes will begin next year. They'll be fully implemented by the start of the 2026 season, but they're phasing out the old jerseys and into some new stuff as we move forward. Looks like Davante Adams' time in Las Vegas may be nearing an end. He has requested a trade from the team since they got rid of Derek Carr. So there's it's Derek Carr, right? So there was a lot of, possible locations. The Steelers apparently are interested. The Jets, of course, always come up when Davante Adams' name is mentioned because of the Aaron Rodgers connection. Whether or not they have the actual tools and pieces to get everything, because there's a big cap number that comes along with Davante Adams. That's the other side to this. It's making the cap stuff work. That's going to have to be the real question. So we'll see where he goes. But if you're a Davante Adams fantasy owner, you should be over the moon that he gets traded as quickly as possible because that offense is not great, Big J. No. Daniel Day-Lewis, are you familiar with his game?
Yeah, I loved him in Last of the Mohicans.
He had retired from acting as of 2017. Phantom Thread, the last movie that he made. Of course, he is a Oscar winner several times over, but he's making a comeback. Now, he's only 67 years old, but he is going to star in his son's directorial debut called Animane. It's film that's filming now, kind of exploring familiar relationships. The movie also will feature Sean Bean, which means he'll probably be dead after the movie. By the way, former guest of the Morning After.
Yeah.
Samantha Morton and Samuel Bottomley also involved in it. So even Mr. Daniel Day-Lewis can't stay away from acting when his son comes calling. And that makes sense to me. You know, if you're going to make a movie, it might as well be your kid's movie, right?
Especially when it's a movie about family.
That is correct.
Yeah.
It totally makes sense. Big J, he has won 3 Oscars. Can you name me the 3 movies that Daniel Day-Lewis won Best Actor for?
Let's see. Last of the Mohicans?
No, that is not
Should
one of
have.
them. No.
Should have. Let's see. There Will Be Blood.
Yep, that's one.
And the Gangs of New York.
No, nominated but did not win.
Okay. I don't know what the other one
Then
is.
you're out of Daniel Day-Lewis movies. My Left Foot was his first one, where he won the Best Actor back in '87. Then There Will Be Blood, and then most recently he won for, of course, playing Lincoln in the Lincoln movie.
Right. Okay.
With the Steven Spielberg film. So he is definitely a decorated actor and good at what he does, and I'm sure he'll bring the gravitas that he does to all of his sets to the set of his son's new movie. Morning After with Nick and Big J. Would you like to play Pop Culture Smackdown, Big J? I promise no
of
Daniel
course.
Day-Lewis questions.
Of course I would.
Beautiful. That will be happening next on the X Rocks.
Pop Culture Smackdown. On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Yeah, Pop Culture Smackdown. We got a great prize for you. A 6-pack of tickets to the Knitting Factory. October is Rocktober, baby. And we got you tickets to Highly Suspect, Set It Off, Citizen Soldier, Black Dahlia Murder, Hawthorne Heights, and Flat Black, all coming up between now and October 14th. So we'll get you these tickets. You just got to beat me in Pop Culture Smackdown.
Tickets to the busiest 2 weeks of your life. We're talking 6 different shows. We give you the hookup for all of it. All you have to do is beat Big J in Pop Culture Smackdown. We'll see how it goes today.
You can do it.
287-1003. If you want to play, Big J, are you ready?
I'm ready.
To the phones we go. Hello, the X. Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing, man? What's your name?
Good, it's John.
All right, John, you're up first. John, what DC superhero's alter ego is Barry Allen?
Barry? No.
Little Barry.
Little Barry Allen running around.
Oh, the Flash.
Yeah! The Flash is the right answer, John. Good job.
Why
You're
am I
officially
helping?
taking on Big J. You just called him Little Barry
Yeah,
Allen. That's
that's
all
all
you
you
said.
need.
I don't think that's a help. Big J, Alec Baldwin hosted the primetime version of what classic game show on ABC from 2016 to 2022?
The Newlyweds.
That is incorrect. Wrong. No, I'm sorry. No Newlywed Game. Not by Alec Baldwin. No, sir.
That
John,
would've made sense, though.
that means you are the victor. Do you happen to know the correct answer? The Alec Baldwin hosted game show on ABC, primetime.
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the name, though.
It's all good. You
I
win
know who
anyway.
knows. You do.
Huh? I do know.
You love game shows.
I came up with the question. The answer is the match game. Right. Way to go, John. Hang
Wait,
on one
what's
second.
the match game about?
The match game is the one that Gene Rayburn used to host in the 70s that had the celebrity panel. You go, my blank is so red
okay.
that, and so you ended up having to fill
Right.
in the blank and match the celebrities. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There is your Pop Culture Smackdown. Up next, a very cool event happening this weekend in the Treasure Valley. Sea Spot Walk returns for its 32nd year. You're getting all the details next on the X.
Here's traffic.
Red Hot Chili Peppers, that is Californication here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. It is a busy weekend here in the Treasure Valley, but one of the coolest things happening for the 32nd year is a huge event with the Idaho Humane Society. It is called Sea Spot Walk. It's happening on Julia Davis Park on Saturday, and it is an honor and privilege to welcome in a couple of guests back into the studio. Rob from Treasure Valley Subaru, Leah from the Idaho Humane Society. How are you guys?
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much for having us.
Our
Welcome.
pleasure. It's our job to get the word out and help people, but this is a pretty big event, Leah. 32 years is no joke. Sea Spot Walk is one of the biggest Idaho Humane Society events you guys put on every year. If I just moved to the Treasure Valley and never heard of it, give me kind of like the elevator pitch as to what Sea Spot Walk is.
Sea Spot Walk is our greatest fundraiser. It helps us to save over 10,000 animals a year at the Idaho Humane Society. You just can't be in a bad mood at the Sea Spot Walk. We're all going to come out. 2,000 pets and their peeps are all coming out to walk along the Greenbelt, meeting at Julia Davis Park around 10 a.m. There's going to be silly contests, vendors. It's going to be great.
It is. It's a really awesome event. It's about a mile walk. You can bring your dogs. Obviously, it's a family-friendly event as well to have a good time and to raise some funds and some awareness for the Idaho Humane Society. Ton of vendors out there if you're looking for stuff for great local vendors for your dogs or your animals and pets. I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff to see out there too.
That's right. Or just pet-friendly folks. We have some wonderful sponsors that are maybe helping us out who don't always you're not selling dogs or dog shirts,
right?
But what you do, my friend Rob Studebaker, is help a lot with the Idaho Humane Society.
Yeah, thank you. And we've been invited to be a judge, so Casey will be a judge, one of the gals that works with us, and we have some fun prizes.
So we have some crazy contests, look-alike contests with your dog and one that we like to call Lickety Split, which is the pet owner holds a plastic spoonful of peanut butter in their mouth, hands behind their back, and the dog who licks the peanut butter the fastest wins some cool prizes like.
So we got these things from Subaru that are they're called they're chew toys called Chubaroos.
I get it.
They got spit up, Rob.
Yeah, right.
Morty is into the Chubaroo.
He's about to grab that. And then we have the box here, which is a good giveaway. Treasure Valley Subaru loves pets. Deal with more chew toys. And here's the brush.
Yeah, some grooming stuff.
Nice.
Mortimer needs that.
So you can win great prizes. It's a humongous event at Julia Davis Park this weekend, Saturday. It's great.
Yeah, we couldn't be more grateful for the support the community shows us during Sea Spot Walk. Everybody's out. Everybody's having a good day. The weather's going to be perfect.
Yeah.
Register for Sea Spot Walk. You get a cool T-shirt. They're iconic T-shirts. There's a big Treasure Valley Subaru logo on the back.
Okay.
It's good looking. But they're silly. They have a little bit of dog butt sniffing,
nice.
Which I think maybe your constituents might like. They're silly T-shirts this year. I really, really like them. So
you should check it out in person. It's happening Saturday at Julia Davis Park. Again, around 10 o'clock is when the fun gets started. It's not exactly an all-day long event. It's really nice to kind of go out there for a couple hours, spend the time outside, and of course it goes to a fantastic cause. The Idaho Humane Society helps out so many different animals across the Treasure Valley, and I'm sure that number grows every year like our population does. Right?
Absolutely, yeah. We do so much. We have a pet food pantry. We have Meals on Wheels for pets. We have some really amazing programs that help make sure that pets can stay in their homes, as well as find homes for pets that are lost or stray.
And Rob, Treasure Valley Subaru, I mean, they're all about pets and dogs in particular too, right? I mean, that's one of their mission statements.
Yeah, I mean, it's really something that we grabbed hold of. We knew Subaru did it, and it made sense for us at Treasure Valley Subaru to really focus on animals. And, Idaho Humane Society in West Valley have been, we've been big supporters, and that's not going to change. Yeah, we love what they do.
It's a really important event happening this Saturday, Sea Spot Walk at Julia Davis Park. Register in advance at idahohumanesociety.org. You can get more information there or search Sea Spot Walk. That page will pop right up if you do a Google search for it. As well, if you want to register pre-style and then sign yourself and your dog up for some contests, win some cool stuff from Treasure Valley Subaru, and raise some funds and awareness for a fantastic nonprofit here in the Treasure Valley that does so much for families and for pets when people can't afford it or if they're lost or can't be found. It's a wonderful service you guys provide. Thank you to the Humane Society. Rob, thank you to Treasure Valley Subaru for all that you do as well. Yeah. And thank you guys for getting up early and coming in. And thanks to Mortimer for being so cute.
He's a really good guy.
He is a good guy. we all do our Mortimer voices when he comes in. It's a lot of fun. Morning After with Nick and Big J. Some headlines around the corner on the X Rocks.
You have our word on it. For whatever that's worth. It's Headlines on the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Headlines brought to you by T Mazda and the Pre-Owned Superstore. Are you looking for a new or used vehicle? You should check out GoTMazda.com. You'll find the beautiful big blue button. It is the iPrecheck button there on the website. You click it, you can find out exactly what you're pre-qualified for without entering in your social security number. It's not a credit check. It gives you an idea what your payments will be for a new or used vehicle before you even step foot on the lot. That way you know what you're in for before you even go out there. It's a really good tool. If you're looking for a new vehicle, you can check it out for yourself at GoTMazda.com. Headlines are as follows, Big J. Pretty creepy. You knew they would be okay, and clown invasion.
Clown invasion.
The owner of a garden center in Tennessee isn't going to get over his fear of clowns anytime soon. That's because, Big J, his business was recently robbed by one.
Oh, no.
Derek Johnson is the owner of JVI Secret Gardens. He got a call from his business partner who said he got an alert from the surveillance camera that somebody was detected inside the shop. Johnson then pulled up the video on his phone and saw a damn clown snooping through the plants with a flashlight. The business partner asked if he would go over to the shop, but Johnson looked at the video and said, nope, I've got a fear of clowns. I'm not going over there. Johnson says he tried to communicate with the clown through the camera's speaker, but as soon as the speaker made a noise, the clown took off. Johnson then headed over there and discovered that the clown kicked his way through this fence with his big clown shoes, Big J, and then tried to steal a propane tank and a saw blade. He says the business was robbed 6 months ago, and he thinks the clown may be the one behind that, too. So we have a real clown connection here.
Clown situation.
I don't know if I like that. I mean, listen, I guess it's just as good as wearing a mask. You know, you're wearing clown makeup, right?
Yeah.
Tough to describe one clown from another. What the characteristics of a clown would be. Huge red nose, giant feet, big red hair. I mean, that could be anybody in the clown world, right?
Yes.
And so that does take it up a notch. And then if you have a fear of clowns, of course, that's going to make it forever.
Right.
I mean, anytime you hear a noise, it'll be a clown breaking into your house. That's not good.
Dun, 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 dun. And then it's like, oh.
Piling into his getaway car with 50 other clowns to the next job.
Honk, honk.
Pretty creepy, or you knew they would be okay?
You knew they'd be okay.
Listen, there is no joke about Hurricane Helene. It is the fourth deadliest hurricane in the United States of America history. It's a big deal. Lots of people. We had somebody close to us that was missing for a while. Thank God they found her alive, and she's okay. But it's a real problem. And there's some real flooding in a bunch of areas that are going to need some serious funds to rebuild. And there is a bunch of places in Florida and North Carolina and Tennessee that need as much help as they can get. So we encourage you to do that. That being said, with all that damage, you still know that cockroaches were going to make it out okay, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
I lived in Florida. The biggest bugs I've ever seen in my life were in Florida. Cockroaches were everywhere. It was disgusting. And a Florida family was cleaning out their flooded home at Sunset Beach when they realized some cockroaches have found a way to take refuge from Hurricane Helene. Cockroaches were hiding in the family's coffee pot. All of the bugs in the pot managed to survive the rising waters because the pot was floating, so they knew what to get in and to keep themselves alive. So as families clean out their homes, they may find unexpected animals or pests who took shelter from the home in their belongings and are told to be careful doing that. That's one thing I guess I didn't think about. I mean, it's everybody for themselves at that particular point.
Yeah.
And they're probably trying to find some sort of way to keep safe or as safe as possible. But you knew the cockroaches were going to figure this out.
Follow them.
They're going to be around for a while. We'll wrap it up with pretty creepy. Caitlin Hills turns dead rats into showgirls, complete with feathers, nipple covers, and lashes, Big J. Hills says her demand for her creations are so high that she works 13 hours a day turning these dead rats into showgirls. It's taxidermy, if you don't know, and they sell for about $185 a piece, and she says she pumps out about 10 to 15 a week, and they all sell out within a matter of seconds. Now, the poses that she puts the rats in are inspired by burlesque performers and dancers, and she is, quite frankly, probably as surprised as you are that people care about it, but she has sold artwork all over the country and internationally, and there's something about taxidermy dead rats that people want to see in showgirls makeup. Big J, what do you think that is?
I don't know. I don't like it.
Is that some weird kink that I'm not aware of?
I don't want to know.
Because it does seem like a weird thing to purchase and have like on display in your house, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know how I would react if I walked into somebody's house and on like their mantle was a dead rat doing showgirls stuff.
Immediately try to find a way to get out.
Unless it's a scene from the movie Showgirls, then I could probably understand and respect it. You know, it's like doing a lap dance or something. Then I would get it.
Is the Shannon Elizabeth rat hot?
Shannon Elizabeth not in Showgirls.
Really?
Good try, though. Yeah, no. It's Elizabeth Berkley. From
I always get them mixed up.
Saved by the Bell. Morning After with Nick and Big J. None of your business why I know that. We got some bad impressions. They're next on the X.
Bad impressions.
So far, I'm not impressed.
On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
As noted, we got a lot of shows coming up here in the next few days, and one of them is Highly Suspect. That's happening Sunday at the Knitting Factory. Dead Poet Society opening up for them. A fantastic band. It's going to be a great night of music there at the Knit. So we'll get you there for free. You just need to figure out bad impressions here today with three easy clues. I think you'll get it.
All right, 208-287-1003 is the number you need to call if you'd like these highly suspect tickets for Sunday. You are going to have to figure out bad impressions in order to claim the prize. It works like this. Big J has 3 aforementioned clues revolving around somebody that's pretty famous. If you can figure out who that famous person is in 3 clues or less, it's you that's going to the show on Sunday free of charge, and you're having fun on us. Hello, the X.
Hello,
Hey, what's up, man? What's your name?
Tyler.
All right, Tyler, you're up first. Good luck, bud.
Yeah, and this is a band, not an individual, okay?
Okay.
We like to wear jumpsuits and uniforms on stage. Oh, and masks. Lots of masks.
My first guess would be Slipknot.
Yeah, your first guess is right.
Always go with your gut, Tyler. It worked out for you here. Congratulations. Hang on one second. Highly suspect tickets are yours. What were clues 2 and 3?
We were just in Boise. We're really sorry about all the rain. We did eventually play, though. And all of us have a number in the band instead of names. Like Corey, the lead singer, is number 8.
And why is Slipknot in the news?
Slipknot made an episode of Hot Ones, but it was a little different. This just came out yesterday. Hot Ones, of course, if you don't know what it is a YouTube TV show that has celebrities answering questions while eating hot wings. It is a lot of fun. Sean Evans, the host of that, is phenomenal interviewer that does a wonderful job. Now, this particular case of Hot Ones, it was just Corey and Sean, a.k.a. Clown, asking each other questions. Not as much fun, if you ask me.
It was like the B version of Hot Ones.
Yeah, which is a bummer. I was like, because we had just had Barry on from Shinedown, and they have a hot sauce, and so I was asking him about how the guys in the band would do on a Hot Ones episode, and he goes, they wouldn't do very well. So I just thought it would be really cool. So, them asking questions, there's some good answers and some interesting things. Corey got into some of the beefs he's had with some other artists, including Limp Bizkit and Nickelback and Machine Gun Kelly. So that was pretty interesting, but it's fun. It's just not the same level of fun as when you've got Sean asking questions.
And no offense to Hot Ones, they're doing a lot more. Granted, everything about that show is promotional. Somebody's coming on to plug something, but they're doing a lot more. I don't know. The guests are wearing stuff, and it's not as fun if you don't see the real reactions of it. And seeing Slipknot in their full masks and everything, I guess, is part of it. But it also, I feel, takes away from the reactional point of the actual show.
I think it's jumped the shark a little bit, but that's because they've almost interviewed everybody you can, and everybody, you're always just waiting for the people to have a breakdown on DeBomb.
Yeah, so. and again, I don't know how much of it is real, but at some point I'm like, okay, who now? This person's clearly trying to one up the person that had the last breakdown, and it's like, all right, already. But listen, it's a popular show. Those who like it enjoy it, and I don't dog anybody for it. Also, hey, happy birthday to number 4 today, Big J.
Oh, yeah.
It's Jim Root's birthday. Morning After with Nick and Big J. And there's your bad impressions. We wrap up the show next on the X. That's a perfect circle. That's Judith here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J, wrapping things up for this particular Wednesday. Big J did not enjoy the movie Killer Cult. He could not recommend it.
It was all right.
But it's not enough to get approved, correct?
Right.
So
Even
I would
Alice
say
Eve couldn't save it.
Yeah, I would say it's not approved. Therefore, you didn't like it enough in order to push it over the edge. So you don't have to watch that on Hulu unless you want to, of course. I also said avoid Megapolis, the movie that's out in theaters now.
Shocker.
But I saw it because I knew it was going to be bad, but I am here to confirm it is, in fact, really, 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 really bad.
Thanks for not making us do the Morning After podcast.
You're welcome. I knew nobody else would care, and I would be shocked. Again, there were 3 of us in the movie theater last night. All 3 of us made it through, but there were a couple times where I'm like, I think I might want to leave. But I stayed through the entire thing, and I don't know if all 3 of us would have made it through. It's a tough movie to watch. Also, special thank you to Leah from the Idaho Humane Society, as well as Rob from Treasure Valley Subaru for coming by, talking about C-Spot Walk happening this Saturday at Julie Davis Park. It's going to be a great event. Hopefully you can go out there and make it. And Big J, that leaves you with the floor.
Yeah, tomorrow morning we need to do this. We need to announce the winner of the Big J's Beard Brigade Walk Team Tim Montana VIP special prize that I had set up for that for the member of my team who raised the most money. So we'll do that and let you know how much we've raised so far, and we'll eventually get a date where we're going to give away that motorcycle as well.
Love it. So tune in tomorrow if you want to see who's going to go shopping with Tim Montana at the Record Exchange.
And
That's
me.
exciting. Yeah, and
I can help you pick out some
I know,
stuff.
but you could. Hey, I've run into you at the Record Exchange randomly.
Yeah,
Remember
awkward,
that?
weird.
It was really weird. We both happened to be at the Record Exchange.
What are you doing here?
So yes, it can certainly happen, but this one is guaranteed to have it happen. Morning After with Nick and Big J. That's it for us. We will see you tomorrow. It's the X Rocks.